Today on Studio One, Michael Flatley's Lord of the Dance helped catapult Irish dancing into the spotlight. We'll watch a group of young dancers perform to traditional Irish music. Also, a child develops language skills early in life. There's a class that helps parents make sure their toddlers are on track. And high school seniors need to complete certain courses to graduate. We'll tell you why some are concerned those requirements may be too easy.
From the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, this is Studio One.
Hi everyone and welcome to Studio One. I'm Monty Cashel.
And I'm Kaylee Hamilton. A lot of people saw the show Cats when it was on Broadway or in national tours.
Very popular musical.
It was a very popular musical. It was actually one of the longest running shows on Broadway. So it's a really interesting show to watch, and we actually have someone on the show today who understudied 6 roles in Cats, and he played 5 of them on stage during performances.
Excellent.
So,
on Broadway.
On Broadway.
Excellent. It'll be interesting talking to him. Also coming up in the show, many international students want to study in the U.S., but after the September 11th attacks, it became harder to apply for a student visa. We'll tell you how that process is getting easier.
Also, there are many products that guarantee improvement for our minds and bodies. We'll speak with a pharmacist who says that proof is better than promises.
But first, here's today's news with Megan Floggen.
Thanks, Monty and Kaylee. The judge in the Michael Jackson case threatened the pop star with jail after he failed to arrive on time for his trial Thursday. Jackson's attorney says his client arrived 90 minutes late because he was hospitalized with a serious back problem. The judge threatened to revoke his bail and jail him for the remainder of the trial. Jackson arrived at the courthouse in pajama bottoms and needed help walking. His late arrival delayed testimony by his accuser, who was expected to detail what happened between him and the pop star. Jackson faces 10 felony charges, including child molestation. The Senate Armed Services Committee questioned defense officials Thursday about a report dealing with prisoner abuse in Iraq and Afghanistan. The Pentagon report indicates senior military officials pressured interrogators to get information from prisoners, but it did not find the pressures to be excessive. The report says that senior military officials are not accountable for the prisoner abuse. High blood pressure is a growing problem in the U.S. and Canada, and now a group of doctors is suing the Food and Drug Administration for not regulating an additive they say is part of the problem. They want the FDA to limit the use of salt in foods. People get most of their salt from processed foods and meals at restaurants, not from a shaker. The United States and Canada do not limit the amount of salt that can be added to food. Some doctors and dietitians say that nutrition labels on food are sufficient.
Inform consumers, teach them how to read a food label, how to put that food into context. Certainly very, very high sodium food items would be something I'd probably not recommend to people.
Doctors say an estimated 150,000 North Americans die each year from eating too much sodium. San Francisco's Golden Gate Bridge is a famous landmark that may soon get an infamous addition. Authorities are moving closer to building a barrier to prevent people from jumping off the bridge. An average of 20 people commit suicide there each year. The bridge is considered to be the #1 suicide location in the world. A recent film showing 19 people jumping off the bridge put the issue on the city's agenda. San Francisco officials say it would take about $2 million and almost 2 years to develop a plan, and another 2 years to build it. With graduation only a few months away, many high school seniors are squeezing in last-second requirements. But students may soon have to add a few more classes to their schedules.
For some students, high school classes can be difficult, but others describe high school graduation requirements as too simple. This leaves some seniors feeling unprepared for what lies after graduation.
There are also some other classes that it's just, why are we taking these?
At a recent summit, governors from all 50 states discussed raising high school requirements to better prepare students. As a result, many schools are now considering changing their standards.
How do we make that senior year meaningful? And it may mean taking it up a notch. The standards could, I think, go up a notch.
The new standards would include more math, science, and fine arts requirements, as well as more difficult classes and tests. Many students say they would support the changes.
I think some of those classes would be a good idea to require that are going to help us somewhere down the road. Then it'd be worth having those kinds of classes.
Yet administrators do caution against too much change too quickly.
I think it's something you have to be sensitive to, is how would this affect students who haven't taken the higher level courses.
Some educators are also concerned that higher standards may mean more dropouts.
Some of them will step up, and I think that you're going to lose some more as a result of it.
But for the students who step up and meet the higher standards, those extra classes could better prepare them for challenges after graduation.
A recent study by the National Governors Association found that 40% of high school graduates are unprepared for college courses or for jobs beyond entry-level positions. And that's news for now. Monty and Kaylee?
Thanks, Megan. When people start talking about graduation and proms and things like that, it brings images of warmer weather.
It really does, and we should actually go over to Aaron Swanson at the weather studio, and he'll tell us what we can be expecting.
Yeah, well, thanks, Monty and Kaylee. Well, hopefully, I guess winter eventually leaves our area, but we are going to still be stuck with it for a little while longer. Let's first of all take a look at our almanac conditions across the region here. In Fargo, this time of year, right around 36, 37 in towards Minot, and Grand Forks 35. And 41 in towards Bismarck, but those are actually well below what we're seeing actually right now. So hopefully eventually it'll turn around and warm up a little bit. Otherwise in towards Denver, 54 for your high, 56 in Portland, 39 in Minneapolis, and Winnipeg, almost that negative mark there. So, but we had actually some storms that occurred across parts of southern South Carolina and North Carolina, and also in through Virginia as well. Ripped off some siding, as you can see, and ruined a few screen porches, but nothing really major as far as damage was, except for this one. There was one storm that happened towards the hurricane, or excuse me, towards the airfield here, and it really just tore down hurricanes. So as we take a look here, as we go in towards our affected area here, we see this was the main area that was affected. As it head on in towards New York, it changed into snow and ice. And we saw like 15 to 18 inches of snow just east of Albany, actually, and up towards Maine, they saw almost 20 inches of snow too. So, but as we take a look at where we're going to be warm or cold, we're going to continue to be cold across almost the entire U.S. And what's setting this up is this jet stream here. As we take a look, the jet is kind of dipping and bringing in a lot of that Arctic air from the northern parts of Canada and into the Arctic area, and it's just pushing it down to the southern regions here. As we take a look here and we step ahead towards March 17th, you can see that cold air is just going to continue to dribble in and really cause quite a bit of chilliness across the region. But otherwise, we're going to have that wet band right across the middle of the country, dry to the south in towards Texas, and dry into the northern part of the region as well. So, but otherwise, nothing too much to worry about as far as wet and dry conditions. But here's a look at our Studio One Weather IQ question. How many days did it take for the ash to circle the Earth in the 1980 Mount St. Helens eruption? And we have answers ranging there from 5 to 20, so 20 days. So Monty and Kayla, we're going to have a look at some footage actually, because it has become a little more active. So we'll have coming up later in our show.
Thanks, Aaron. But cold weather looks like it's going to stick around for a little while.
Yeah,
anyway.
and it at least we can look forward to the warm-up, because after it's cold, it always warms up,
That's
right?
true.
All right. Well, let's go now to sports news with Greg Ankers.
Thanks, Monty and Kaylee. The NBA season is entering its stretch run for the playoffs. Two teams fighting for home court throughout, the San Antonio Spurs and Phoenix Suns, met on Wednesday with the NBA's best record on the line. In the third, Suns on the run. Amari Stoudemire leading the way. A little give-and-go action with Steve Nash. He finishes. Suns go up by 4. In the fourth, though, Spurs keeping it close despite playing without All-Stars Manu Ginobili and Tim Duncan. Mike Wilkes with the drive gets the lay-in to go, cutting the Suns' lead down to 1. Later in the fourth, the Suns pull away. Steve Nash and Amari, they play pretty well together, I'm thinking. Stoudemire with the emphatic dunk. The Suns go on to win 107-98. On to New Jersey and New Orleans in a wild one. In overtime with seconds left, Jason Collins trying to tie the game with a free throw, doesn't go. His putback gets denied. Jason Kidd tracks down the ball. He'll go in for the layup and gets fouled on the play. His free throw puts the Nets up by 2 with 2.5 seconds to go. Hornets inbound to rookie J.R. Smith, who gets fouled by Kidd shooting behind the arc. He'll go to the line for 3 free throws. But rookies make rookie mistakes. He misses the first 2. The third one he tries to miss on purpose, but that one, of course, goes in. The Nets hold on to win this one 86-85 in a thriller. For the avid outdoorsman, the hunting season has come and gone, but there is a way for all hunters to keep in touch with their hobby. Many hunters take advantage of the off-season to upgrade their firearms. For some, a retail store can be the most convenient way to purchase a new gun. But for others, a gun club show can offer more than the average dealer.
The advantage of the gun shows is that you can hit a lot of dealers all in one room. So you can price shop and do all that stuff much easier. That's kind of the advantage. Plus at a gun show you can find some of the odder stuff that's hard to find in a regular retail type
Schultz also says the process of purchasing at a gun show or a store is virtually the same. Both will require the standard background check. And now it's time for the Studio One Sports Trivia question. You just saw them a moment ago. The Phoenix Suns, with their win over the Spurs, have tied them with the best record in the NBA currently. We want to know, when was the last time today the Phoenix Suns finished the season atop the NBA with the best record? And we will have that answer along with more sports a little later on. Monty and Kaylee?
Thanks, Greg. Living in a rural area often means a long bus ride to school. When the bus quit showing up at one young man's door, he was forced to find alternative means of transportation.
Also, there are herbal remedies for memory loss, sleeplessness, energy boosts, and much more. Later, we'll speak with someone who thinks we should leave the remedies up to the professionals.
Need to plan an entire conference? Want to provide your employees with professional training and development? The Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota provides quality programs and services for career enhancement. Whether you want to attend educator workshops or need a certificate for your profession, the Division of Continuing Education can help you achieve success. Contact the Division of Continuing Education today and let us meet your professional needs.
When you graduate from college, what will you be able to offer an employer?
Well, I'm a really good people person.
I really love working with people.
I'm very, very motivated.
I'm a great people person. I am really motivated.
Offer an employer something more. At the University of North Dakota Career Services Center, we can help you get the competitive edge you need. Stop in or check us out. UND Career Services, empowering students to realize their dreams.
Did I mention I'm great with people?
The University of North Dakota College of Business and Public Administration offers real degrees for real people. Our nationally recognized faculty can help you earn a master's degree in business through evening classes.
Taking these evening classes were very convenient for me, and that's how I was able to complete the program.
We offer degrees for people who work, raise families, and lead busy lives. The UND College of Business and Public Administration, real degrees for real people.
Become a leader in healthcare with a graduate degree from the University of North Dakota. The Graduate School at UND offers degree programs and advanced practice certificate programs in the allied health professions and nursing. Our faculty give you the individual attention you need to help you attain your career goals. Distance programs for practicing professionals allow you to pursue graduate studies without interrupting your career. Contact the UND Graduate School today.
The School of Engineering and Mines at UND has a long history of preparing students for successful careers. Through small classes and faculty involvement, students have unique opportunities to gain hands-on experience. Here, students launch a weather balloon to test a remote imaging device destined for Earth orbit. Students can also become involved in wind energy and fuel cell projects, design, build, and race a Formula One car, or even develop a camera that will generate agricultural images from the International Space Station. Find out for yourself how you can get involved at UND School of Engineering and Mines.
You're watching Studio One, news, weather, sports, and entertainment.
Many of us trust home remedies like mom's special broth, incense, or herbal teas to cure our ailments. However, recent studies suggest that some herbal medications are not holding up their end of the bargain. Registered pharmacist Kevin Kern is here to talk about some of the facts and myths of herbal supplements. Thanks for coming on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Well, first off, if you could just tell us, how are herbal medicines different from something that's prescribed, medication that's prescribed?
The main difference is a prescription medication has to be approved by the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, before it is released to the market to be used on the general public. Herbal supplements do not have to go to the FDA to get prior approval, so they can just come onto the market without any oversight or regulation in terms of safety or efficacy.
Okay, as you give prescriptions out, what are some herbal supplements that are requested quite a bit by patients?
Probably some of the most popular are echinacea, which is popular for trying to eliminate or decrease viral illnesses like the cold and flu. Glucosamine is another popular one for joint pain. Ginseng, ginkgo is popular, especially with the elderly patients, because it's thought to have some benefit with cognition and thinking and with Alzheimer's and things like that. So garlic is another popular one. So there's a lot of, there's probably 8 or 10 that are very popular,
okay.
And then the other ones kind of fall after that.
And you talked a little bit about the regulation part of that. What do studies say about the contents of some herbal supplements?
And that's, I think that's the biggest worrisome factor about the supplements is a lot of studies have shown that they can be adulterated or contaminated, for example, with heavy metals like lead, arsenic, or mercury, or even a lot of the dietary supplements, not a lot, but sometimes they can be adulterated with prescription drugs, which gives them the impression that they're doing something, but it's actually the prescription drug that's contaminated in the product that's providing the beneficial effect.
Okay. Well, you see herbal supplements everywhere. They're at gas stations for truckers to stay awake. My mother gave me a bunch of herbal tea for Christmas. What about all these different things? Is there proof that they actually work, and why are they so popular with people?
I think one of the reasons they're so popular is it gives patients or the public some say in what they're doing in terms of their health care. So they have control over that. They can try something that perhaps their doctor didn't suggest. And a lot of the areas where they're very popular are for diseases for which conventional medicine does not have a cure. We have things to decrease the signs and symptoms, but we don't have cures like cancer, arthritis, AIDS, HIV, things like that, where we don't have cures. So a lot of those patients turn to other modalities to try to get some relief.
Okay. Well, prescription drugs, oftentimes they're pulled off of the market if they're deemed unsafe. Why are prescription drugs held to that standard and herbal supplements are not?
It's due to the federal regulation that oversees dietary supplements. Really, 1994 was the key legislation that was passed that governs dietary supplements, and it really created an environment of no regulation for these products. So these products can come onto the market, and then it's up to the FDA to try to gather information, and there's no formal process for that. It's usually voluntary, where physicians or somebody might report an adverse effect. And it's up to the FDA then to gather all this information and try to prove a case against the supplement that it probably causes more harm than good.
Okay.
So it's very difficult to take a supplement off the market, and it's much easier to take a prescription drug off the market.
Well, and when, herbal supplements, when people take them and things go wrong, what are some of the instances, I guess, where that happened that you would warn people about?
Some of the common things are liver and kidney problems, because those are organs that are susceptible to side effects from prescription drugs as well. So kidney failure, liver failure, and another key thing is interaction with other drugs, prescription drugs, that can lead to complications or side effects from those other drugs, prescription drugs, because we're taking a dietary supplement with it.
So it's bad news when you mix herbal supplements and prescription medication?
Absolutely. It increases the risk of some type of interaction between the two from occurring. The more prescription drugs we take, the higher the risk of a drug-drug interaction occurring. So when we add in dietary or herbal supplements, that's also going to increase the risk of some type of interaction occurring.
Okay. Well, if people choose to take some of these herbal supplements, what advice do you give them when they're looking for things or when they're taking them?
First of all, if they're going to take them, they should discuss it with their physician, because their physician knows what their illnesses are, whether they have diabetes, heart disease, things like that. And there's certain dietary supplements that should be avoided, for example, in someone who has heart disease. So they should always discuss it with their physician, and their physician knows what other prescription drugs are on, as well as talking it over with their pharmacist, because they also have good information sources where they can determine whether there's going to be some problem taking the two together. So always discuss it with your physician and or pharmacist.
All right. Well, thank you so much for the information and hopefully shed some light on this topic.
Thank you.
All right. Coming up, a Broadway performance can be the experience of a lifetime. We'll talk with one actor who started in a small town and made it to the big stage. Also, with St. Patrick's Day approaching, people may become more aware of Irish traditions. We'll show you one group that brings awareness of Irish culture with their lively dance steps.
Earn a degree in engineering while you continue to work. The University of North Dakota's Distance Engineering degree program offers the only ABET accredited undergraduate degree program at a distance. Instructors and classes are delivered to you through online lectures and condensed on-campus laboratories.
It's convenient, it's flexible, and it's a quality education.
UND Continuing Education and the School of Engineering and Mines, teaming up to bring quality education to your door.
Need to plan an entire conference? Want to provide your employees with professional training and development? The Division of Continuing Education at the University of North Dakota provides quality programs and services for career enhancement. Whether you want to attend educator workshops or need a certificate for your profession, the Division of Continuing Education can help you achieve success. Contact the Division of Continuing Education today and let us meet your professional needs.
Rural areas depend on school buses to pick up their kids. School cutbacks have forced an Ohio teen to find a creative way to get to school. 13-year-old Mark Wasserman has been helping his dad on the farm since childhood. His father had no problem handing over the keys to a vehicle so he could go to school. It happens to be the vehicle he was raised on. Mark's father is a single parent and is unable to drive Mark to school. He says that he has no fears with his son on the road.
Well, I'm not bragging my son up, but he works around here on the farm with me all summer. He's an excellent operator. He probably can drive better than some of our people that are responsible for busing.
Some parents are upset about Mark driving to school, but Highway Patrol sees it differently and is allowing the tractor on the roads. Mark says he would rather start taking the bus again so he could be with his friends. Now it's time to look at the events happening in your area. Many people look for a fun way to exercise or to relieve stress. There's a school that has been offering that perfect combination to their students.
The beat of an Irish drum and the whistle of a flute lead the feet of these dancers. A swift kick, a shuffle of the feet, and a tap of the shoe have the group in sync with one another. These Irish dancers are all a part of the McDonald School of Irish Dance. They dance for different reasons.
Some people do it for exercise. Some people do it because, and I'm talking about the adults and the younger aged people as well, the 5-year-olds. Some people do it because their parents or their heritage is Irish.
Two sisters joined the school to learn a little more about their Irish heritage. They found out that they would be spending even more time together.
It's good, but we always get paired together.
Yeah.
Like we get to do some dances separate because we're different ages, but we always have to dance together all the time.
Their energy is contagious. Although this group makes Irish dancing look easy, the dancers know the meaning of hard work.
My muscles are really sore. It's always, I don't know, it's harder to perform it than to just practice.
It was great. Costumes were beautiful. Oh, the energy level is, I got exhausted just watching them.
The reason that brought these dancers together may be different, but when it comes to a performance, their steps are the same. With photographer Dan Lean, this is Jessie Weber reporting for Studio One.
The McDonald School of Irish Dance in Winnipeg, Manitoba was founded almost 20 years ago. The school performs dances in competitions. Coming up, learning to talk can be a challenge for some toddlers. In our Spotlight story, we'll take you to a language class that makes learning a fun experience for everyone. That story plus news, sports, and the weather in the next half hour of Studio One.
George Bull and his partners found value in farina, the whitest part of wheat, and created cream of wheat. Patrick Haggerty founded Texas Instruments and helped it become one of the nation's high-tech giants. Raymond Rood is responsible for the modern diving board. His diving boards have been used in every Olympic competition since 1960. Chris Moen and Marlene Schott launched their food company through the UND Entrepreneurship Program. Will yours be next?
The University of North Dakota Alumni Association and Foundation, together with thousands of alumni and friends, are making a difference at UND. Thanks to generous private support, many students have experienced the rich history, tradition, and spirit of the University of North Dakota. UND alumni and friends understand the importance of education and are proud to be part of UND's growth and success. Learn how your gift to the UND Foundation can benefit you and your university. You can make a difference.
Earn a degree in engineering while you continue to work. The University of North Dakota's Distance Engineering degree program offers the only ABET accredited undergraduate degree program at a distance. Instructors and classes are delivered to you through online lectures and condensed on-campus laboratories.
It's convenient, it's flexible, and it's a quality education.
UND Continuing Education and the School of Engineering and Mines, teaming up to bring quality education to your door.
Tradition runs deep among American Indian people. One of those traditions is helping others. At the University of North Dakota, American Indian Student Services is dedicated to helping students succeed. Our support services include tutoring and financial aid assistance. We have more American Indian programs than any other university in the U.S., making UND a leader in Indian education. Be a part of our tradition. Call 1-800-CALL-UND.
From the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks, this is Studio One.
Welcome back to Studio One.
Thanks for joining us today. Well, there's been a bit of a buzz about having a female as president after the last election process that went through. And National Public Radio actually reported that 6 out of 10 people that were surveyed said, sure, let's go for it. Let's have a female president. And I know there are certain people in office, in different offices in government that are female and doing great jobs.
That's true. There's people like Condoleezza Rice and even Hillary Rodham Clinton. She's always the one that people talk about for the next president.
Well, we went out and we wanted to find out what people thought about having a female as president of the United States, and that's coming up in the next 30 minutes on Studio One. Also, after 9/11, stricter immigration policies made it harder for international students to study in the U.S. We'll tell you why that trend may be changing.
And many parents have concerns that their child's verbal skills may be behind other kids their age. In our Studio One Spotlight, we'll tell you about a class that helps teach young kids to talk.
And many actors spend their whole careers trying to get a part on Broadway. We'll talk with someone who got his professional start on the famous New York street. But first, here's today's news with Megan Floggen.
Thanks, Monty and Kaylee. President Clinton is resting in a New York hospital after surgery Thursday. The low-risk operation was needed as a result of Clinton's open heart procedure last year. Soon after the surgery, doctors held a press conference to give details of the medical procedure to reporters. They explained how they removed excess drain fluid and scar tissue between Clinton's ribs and a lung that had been affecting his breathing. Doctors say Clinton is expected to stay in the hospital for 3 to 10 days. A chase between police officers and 2 men in an SUV resulted in a shootout Thursday morning in Los Angeles. The chase began when the driver refused to stop as police tried to pull him over for suspected drunk driving. The driver continued to make several U-turns so that gunmen could shoot at officers. The vehicle crashed into a fence, killing one suspect and injuring the other. LA police say the shootout was planned when the men loaded their SUV with ammunition. Wireless technology is continuing to grow throughout the global market. Today, even restaurants are turning to wireless options. Many restaurants throughout the country are now choosing handheld wireless computers to take orders. Rather than using a standard touchscreen ordering system, waitstaff are now entering, sending, and accepting payment at the table. The wireless devices route the orders from the table to printers located in the kitchen or bar. The new technology allows restaurants to decrease labor while increasing the speed and accuracy of their service.
I definitely think it is the wave of the future, and it's something that makes a lot of sense from a business standpoint. It also makes a lot of sense from a service standpoint.
Critics worry that the increase in wireless technology could cost some servers their jobs. A recent study has found that many states' food and water supply is tainted with a substance typically found in rocket fuel. Perchlorate has been discovered in at least 25 states. It is being found in soil and water and in foods such as lettuce and milk. The study also detected perchlorate in breast milk. The Environmental Protection Agency and the Food and Drug Administration conducted the research. The EPA says the military, NASA, and the Department of Energy are mostly to blame for the contamination. For many young people, getting into college can be a difficult task. But for international students, the process is becoming a bit easier.
In the past few years, international students have experienced troubles studying in the United States. This is because new requirements were imposed after 9/11, tightening security. However, a new visa process was recently implemented, which cuts waiting time from 6 months to less than 1 month.
It just makes things easier for both the student and the consulate or embassy. It just facilitates the whole process.
Every week, the University of North Dakota's International Center features a different country and shows its culture and heritage. These events can make the process of adjusting to life in the U.S. a bit easier. But many are just happy that getting here has become easier as well.
It was a quick process, and I got my visa in the mail by 2 days.
Federal officials say the number of applications for student loans has increased about 10% in the last 6 months. This number is still lower than usual, but people are optimistic about the future.
I really hope that we can kind of get the process to a point, the visa application process to a point where it's both effective and accurate.
The government has been making several efforts to speed up the visa process for international students. As a result, enrollment increases are being reported around the country. I'm Holly Hine, reporting for Studio One.
Some students are still experiencing difficulties because of security clearances and interviews that slow down the process. And that's news for now. Monty and Kaylee?
Thanks a lot, Megan. So many things changed after 9/11, and I know going across borders was also slowed down quite a bit, just to be a little bit more careful.
Yeah, it's kind of been really difficult for everyone. So let's go over to Aaron Swanson at the Weather Studio, and he'll tell us what's going on outside.
Yeah, well, thanks, Monty and Kaylee. Well, we actually have some pretty active volcano footage to talk about here. Mount St. Helens recently has kind of reactivated itself, and since October it kind of went down into a dormant stage where now it's back in and a little bit more lively again. We had a big ash plume that let loose the other day, and it was pretty much caused by a dome that collapsed, and really just lava and everything kind of developed, and it just made this huge ash plume, which is about 36,000 feet in the air, and they actually had to reroute some air traffic in the area, so it was quite the experience. But switching tracks here to the upper Midwest, temperatures frequently bounce between warm during the day and below freezing during the night in the upper Midwest. This temperature tug of war can cause damage to your roof and your home.
During winter, people stay warm and healthy by staying indoors underneath the roof of their homes. But keeping roofs healthy can be difficult during colder temperatures. Many homeowners experience a problem known as ice damming.
Ice damming is when the heat from the sun or outside melts the snow off your roof, which then turns into water, gets to the eave, and at that point then the heat from the outside's not escaping, so it freezes.
Ice on the edge of your roof blocks melting snow from escaping. Water will then back up underneath roof shingles. This can cause leaking, mold, and structural damage. By removing heavy snowfall, reducing unwanted attic heat sources, and installing ice and water shields, you can prevent ice damming. Pay attention to your gutters as well.
If your gutters are completely full of ice, then that's going to mean there is, going to be ice damming occurring.
Using gutter screens will help block debris from clogging your gutter and help prevent icicles and ice damming. You will save both time and money by keeping an eye on your roof in freezing temperatures. I'm Hannah Bloomberg reporting for Studio One.
Experts recommend that you also keep your bathroom stack clear to allow sewer gas to escape. And this will also prevent your plumbing from backing up as well. Well, here again is our weather question of the week here. How many days did it take for the ash to circle the Earth when Mount St. Helens erupted in 1980? And our answer is 15 days. So it took only 15 days for this big, huge ash plume to make it all the way around the world. It's pretty much just shows you the power of the atmosphere. So Monty and Kaylee?
Thanks, Aaron. It's not a very long time for ash to make it around the world.
No, it's amazing. And I wonder if the ash that came up here recently is going to circle the Earth as well. Well, let's go now to sports again with Greg Ankers.
Thanks, Monty and Kaylee. Successful athletes set goals to improve various areas of their game, each one different from the next. But one person began her season with a very unique goal.
A senior on the University of North Dakota women's tennis team, Shauna Differding has all the tools to be successful on the court. However, it wasn't long ago that she was working towards a different goal.
She was really looking forward to a great year, I think, the year before, the year she got hurt.
Injuries are common in sports and on occasion are very serious. But Shauna's injury involved falling and landing on her head and a friend landing on her back. This left her with a broken neck. Hardly a common injury.
The vertebrae is completely displaced. It had kind of jumped over the other one and twisted 50%.
A risky surgery worried friends and teammates.
There was a chance that she could have been paralyzed neck down, which broke my heart.
After a successful surgery, Shauna was forced to spend 4 months in a neck brace. She was then able to join her teammates on the court, but only as a spectator.
Not being able to play tennis was one of the hardest things for her. Occasionally she came to our practices just to watch, and she would have to leave because she started crying. And then, of course, I started crying because she wasn't here.
Though the pain was intense, the pain in her heart was even greater.
Playing in the lineup or something wasn't like my primary thing that I wanted to accomplish. It was just having that aspect of my life that brought a lot of joy and happiness to me, having that back.
Faced with the possibility of never walking again, just 1 year ago, she now returns to the court to play the game she loves. I'm Tyler Tupa, reporting for Studio One.
Now that she has recovered, Shauna is able to walk down the aisle as a maid of honor in her teammate's wedding. And now the answer to this week's Studio One sports trivia question. When was the last time the Phoenix Suns finished with the best record in the NBA? The answer we're looking for there is B, 1992, and the Suns finished with a 62-20 mark. And Sir Charles Barkley led the way to the NBA Finals with that team when they fell short to none other than Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls in 6 games. And that's the sports. Monty and Kaylee?
Thanks, Greg. Coming up, some toddlers learn to speak very early, while it takes others a bit longer. In our Spotlight story, we'll take you to a special course where the students are encouraged to talk in class.
Also, actors must have confidence to perform on stage. We'll show you one theatrical group that has to have a lot of confidence in their electrical crew. They performed every night in a pool of water.
Wall Street has come to the prairie through the A. Kirk Lanterman Investment Center at the University of North Dakota. This state-of-the-art facility in the College of Business and Public Administration provides hands-on experience in the world of modern finance. Students learn how financial markets react with lightning quickness to world events. They use cutting-edge technology and real-time data from more than 200 financial markets around the world. The Lanterman Investment Center provides the tools to make a career out of an education.
There are many things to be found at the University of North Dakota School of Law. You will find a place with small class settings, an affordable place that offers student interaction with both the state and federal court systems. You will find a school that has averaged over 90% placement for its graduates the past 5 years. But most importantly, you will find the skills and experience you'll need throughout your legal career. Find your future at the University of North Dakota School of Law.
This can happen.
Excuse me, can I get a ride?
What?
My car broke down. Can I get a ride?
No, I can't help you.
Look, it's just a ride.
No, step back.
Get in the car.
No!
Women can defend themselves. To learn more about Impact U or to enroll in a class, call the UND Women's Center.
Advance your career with a graduate business degree from the University of North Dakota. The graduate school at UND offers a variety of master's degrees that can help you stand out in the competitive business world. Our programs accommodate full-time students as well as working professionals. Our state-of-the-art facilities, dedicated faculty, and entrepreneurial training position graduates for careers as business leaders. Make your move towards a business leadership position. Contact the UND Graduate School today.
You're watching Studio One from the University of North Dakota in Grand Forks.
Many people face challenges, whether they're studying for school, trying to get a job promotion, or working to pay the bills. Completed challenges bring feelings of accomplishment. One group of actors are challenged by a unique stage.
Playing with cold water in the winter is something many people would not consider doing. In spite of this, the show goes on for some North Dakota college students, even though it involves jumping into a pool of frigid water. The play Metamorphoseez is unlike many other theatrical productions.
You're really dealing with bodies here, so there's got to be a comfort level that's probably higher than what you would usually have for a regular mainstream production.
The 2,000-gallon pool makes for an interesting acting experience. It also presents dangers.
We actually have a buddy system here. Everybody makes sure that everybody's accounted for when we come out of the water, just in case we're not stubbing toes on the dead body that's lying below.
Although the acting may be fresh, there are no guarantees that the water will be too.
We can only change the water like maybe once or twice a week. So if you ask the cast, after the 4th day of getting to the water, it gets kind of skanky down there. It's a little smelly.
Working with water has unique effects.
My hands have permanent water marks from the past few months.
Pruny hands and stagnant water are not enough to keep this cast from becoming something like a family.
We're together 4 to 5. I mean, the last couple nights it's been close to 6 hours. We're together nonstop every night.
The work of these actors illustrates an age-old truth. Overcoming adversity while working toward a shared goal leads to extraordinary results. I'm Patrick Troush, reporting for Studio One.
The play Metamorphoseez originally opened in New York 2 days after the September 11th terrorist attacks. Women have held many powerful positions in American government. Recently, there's been talk about New York Senator Hillary Clinton and Secretary of State Condoleezza Rice looking for an even more powerful position in the 2008 election for president. More than half of surveyed voters feel America is ready for a woman to step into the Oval Office. We wanted your thoughts on electing a female president.
Well, I think it's about time. I mean, it depends on the qualifications of the candidate, but if they're qualified, it's more than due time.
Why not? What we have right now hasn't done much for us, has it?
I think they're definitely ready. It's just everybody's probably more scared of what's going to happen or what she might think.
Not quite certain. It's quite different than what we're going to be used to, but it might be a good thing too.
Well, I believe that it's about time. I believe that no gender limitations should be taken into account when you're voting. It has to be the most qualified candidate.
I think that'd be good. I think a woman would be able to budget things a whole lot better.
Eyes, ears, and mouths are used to communicate. Sometimes a young child may find it difficult to express themselves. Parents are finding different ways to give a boost for little voices.
Many toddlers, like Haley, love to spend their days giggling and playing with toys. Yeah. 2-year-old Haley also loves having fun with her big brothers. This blonde-haired and blue-eyed little girl is a bundle of joy to her mommy and daddy. However, Haley isn't a typical toddler.
It's to the point now where you can actually talk to her. You can ask her things, you can ask her what she wants, and she can tell you.
Haley's parents discovered she was more shy than others her age. She goes to school with other toddlers. Instead of reading, writing, and arithmetic, these tiny tots learn how to communicate.
It was more when we got to the class that we found out in a classroom type setting that she wasn't speaking at all.
Haley is part of a toddler language circle that teaches her and other delayed speakers the importance of verbal expression. More red? Parents also bring their child to get a head start. Using different techniques, every child has their own goals and objectives to become more social.
It's really interesting how these little steps that sometimes we take for granted in children as they're developing, we really celebrate when it's something that a child is struggling with.
Parents attend class with their child and become important to the adapting process. Singing, praising, and making crafts are part of every session. Snack time is always a hit and is still used to stress language development. Sometimes asking for seconds is hard. You can eat the bear.
We need to have an environment where children feel motivated to communicate. So we need to surround them with activities.
One of these activities is story time. The instructor teaches Haley and the other young children by repeating sounds of objects and animals found in these books.
Colorful pictures and wagging tails keep the attention of all. Even their instructors have fun.
I really enjoyed just being able to play with the kids. Getting down on their level and working with them is something that's really rewarding.
Even though things may not always go her way, for Haley, toddler talk becomes a learning circle of friends.
But just watching them grow like this, it is just so much fun.
But what's most important is by the end of Haley's school day, she owns a smile that expresses more power than words could say. I am Jenna Lund reporting for Studio One.
Haley goes to the toddler language circle twice a week for an hour and a half. The only homework is for parents to practice exercises from their class with the child. Coming up, the musical Cats was one of the most successful stage productions. We'll talk with a performer who acted in the famous musical on Broadway.
No matter what your schedule, no matter when you work, no matter what job you have now, this is your opportunity to accomplish your goals. Degrees After Hours at the University of North Dakota can work around your busy schedule. Bachelor and master's degrees are earned through convenient, flexible, and high-quality classes. Complete degrees are available online through correspondence study and on weekends and evenings. Earn a degree on your terms with Degrees After Hours at the University of North Dakota.
The College of Business and Public Administration at the University of North Dakota is proud to announce the Page Family Marketing Center. A gift from alumni Greg and Cindy Page, this center promises real-world experiences as students begin careers in marketing. The center includes a specially designed conference room for focus group research. An adjacent lab offers real-time access to software and data for marketing decisions. The Page Family Marketing Center, your next step in marketing.
The School of Engineering and Mines at UND has a long history of preparing students for successful careers. Through small classes and faculty involvement, students have unique opportunities to gain hands-on experience. Here, students launch a weather balloon to test a remote imaging device destined for Earth orbit. Students can also become involved in wind energy and fuel cell projects, design, build, and race a Formula One car, or even develop a camera that will generate agricultural images from the International Space Station. Find out for yourself how you can get involved at UND School of Engineering and Mines.
The UND College of Business and Public Administration is reaching out to rural America. The Government Rural Outreach Initiative is working to connect North Dakota veterans with important information. North Dakota veterans can use the internet to access employment and business resources, health and benefits they deserve, housing information, and much more. The Government Rural Outreach Initiative is funded in part by the North Dakota Congressional Delegation. North Dakota veterans and their families can get connected by visiting go.ndgrow.com.
It takes a special person to be able to dance, act, and direct. Our next guest has done all three and more on both small town stages and in Broadway in New York. Job Christenson has recently come home to give back to the community that helped make him a success. Thanks so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Well, I guess I'll just get started by asking you, how did you first get interested in the arts?
I came from an artistic family. My dad was the drama director at Central High School here in Grand Forks, and my mother was a writer and liked theater. And so I kind of grew up in music and theater, and I was a young kid. I was very active. I was hyperactive, actually. And my parents wanted to get that energy out of me, and so they put me in every sports. I did baseball and wrestling and football and swimming. And finally, after a while, I really wasn't kind of getting into it. And my dad finally said, well, maybe you should try dancing. And I did, and I loved it. And I just absolutely attached myself to it immediately and found a calling.
Well, you decided to study theater in college. When did you decide you wanted to do the arts world as a career?
Well, I think in every artist there's a kind of a dream, kind of an instinct, and like I said, a calling. And inside of you, this is what I want to do. Can I do it? Whatever. And I had gone to a summer program, and a teacher looked at me and he said, you could do this. He didn't say, oh, you're talented, or oh, you're fabulous, or you sing really well. They said, you could do this. And it was like at that moment, I just thought, I'm going to do this. And so I just decided. I was 16. And so I started looking up schools and researching. I didn't care what was happening in high school. I was just like, I'm going to go out and get training and be on Broadway and sing and dance. And meanwhile, I was this sort of heavy, awkward 16-year-old kid that, and if you looked at me, you would think, oh, probably not. But I had that dream and I had that spark, and that's what I did.
Wow. Well, you got the chance to perform on Broadway. How did you get to that part?
By happenstance. I mean, it was really by surprise. I was hired for a non-equity tour of Carousel, and I was going to play the lead, which was a big thing. I was just out of school, and I'd gotten hired for it, and I was going to New York for the rehearsals, and a group called me up and they said, we're checking up on our files. Would you come in and audition for Cats? And I thought, well, that's kind of cool, but they didn't say, oh, we're doing it for a part, or we're going to hire that person. So I said, okay, I'm coming in on Monday, and I rehearse on Tuesday, so I'll audition on Monday. And they said, oh, okay. So I came into New York at 11 o'clock, went to the audition at 2 o'clock, was done at 3 or 4. 5 o'clock, they called me up and said, we just cast you in the Broadway production of Cats. And I just about freaked out. I said, I don't even have a place to live in New York. I can't, I'm like, okay, but yeah, I will take that, And so I did, and that's how it happened. It was completely by surprise.
Well, what was performing on a Broadway stage like? I mean, when you were first there?
Well, everyone warned me that I wouldn't remember it, and I didn't remember it. My first night, I was just, when you go through the rehearsal process, I was an understudy, and I understudied all the male leads. And after 4 weeks of rehearsal with myself, a dance captain, and a piano player, all in a room by ourselves, I had to go on stage. And for the first time, when I performed on Broadway, I was with the entire cast. So I was just worried about getting to my mark and singing the right words and doing the right choreography. I mean, it was so much pressure, but it was such a rewarding experience, because at the end of it, I thought, wow, this is it. This was what I wanted to do. And it was very surreal.
Wow. Well, after about a year with Cats, you decided to quit, and you auditioned for the musical Ragtime. Yeah. Why did you decide to quit Cats?
Well, if you know Cats, it was the longest show on Broadway, and there was actually somebody in the show that had been in it all the 18 years that it was open. And I just couldn't see myself being in Cats for 18 years. As an artist, you do want creative. You want something creative. You need a creative outlet. You need new things. And I just wanted to do a new show, because I had seen my fellow actors kind of get stuck, or they were in it 9 years or 5 years or whatever it was. And so I decided that I wanted to audition. So I think as an actor, you're always afraid you're going to lose your job, so you constantly are auditioning for a new job, and that's kind of what I did. I wanted something new, and Ragtime was a beautiful, beautiful show to do.
Well, now you're back in your hometown.
Yeah.
How did you get back here? How come you decided to come home?
I was actually moving. I had lived in Chicago for a little while, and I wanted to go back to New York because I have so many friends there and so many connections, and you know, I just love the city. I just love it. And I was going to visit my family, and I hadn't seen my family in a very long time, and I kind of got wrapped up in the whole, you know, being here for the birthdays and the anniversaries and getting to know my nieces and nephew, and it just became, you know, the right thing to do at the time. And I started working with high school kids here locally, and it was, in a way, a really inspiring time for me because I had been performing so much, and that's so regimented, and working with kids made it, you know, almost another creative outlet for me.
Well, where do you think your career will take you after this? Where are you planning to go now?
I think even at a young age, I really wanted to do something different. I always want to get into different facets of the world, and so I'm really hoping that I go into some directing and choreographing and producing.
That's great. Good luck with the rest of your career.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much for coming on the show today.
It was fun.
You're watching Studio One from the University of North Dakota. We'll be right back after this.
Tradition runs deep among American Indian people. One of those traditions is helping others. At the University of North Dakota, American Indian Student Services is dedicated to helping students succeed. Our support services include tutoring and financial aid assistance. We have more American Indian programs than any other university in the U.S., making UND a leader in Indian education. Be a part of our tradition. Call 1-800-CALL-UND.
The Graduate School at the University of North Dakota is the premier graduate school of the Northern Great Plains, offering advanced degrees in more than 50 fields of study. Our innovative and flexible programs give full-time students, as well as working professionals, the opportunity to study under the guidance of nationally and internationally recognized faculty. Advance your career with a master's or doctoral degree from the Graduate School at the University of North Dakota.
When you graduate from college, what will you be able to offer an employer?
Well, I love working with people.
I'm a people person.
I consider myself to be highly motivated.
I'm a real self-starter.
Offer an employer something more. At the University of North Dakota Career Services Center, we can help you get the competitive edge you need. Stop in or check us out, UND Career Services, empowering students to realize their dreams.
I can offer you much more than just good people skills.
You're hired.
No matter what your schedule, no matter when you work, no matter what job you have now, this is your opportunity to accomplish your goals. Degrees After Hours at the University of North Dakota can work around your busy schedule. Bachelor and master's degrees are earned through convenient, flexible, and high-quality classes. Complete degrees are available online through correspondence study and on weekends and evenings. Earn a degree on your terms with Degrees After Hours at the University of North Dakota.
This can happen.
Excuse me, can I get a ride?
What?
My car broke down. Can I get a ride?
No, I can't help you.
Look, it's just a ride.
No, step back.
Get in the car!
No!
Women can defend themselves. To learn more about Impact U or to enroll in a class, call the UND Women's Center.
Tune in next week on Studio One. It's fun to think about the good old days, but one business is devoted to 50s memorabilia, and we'll take a look at how their store is preserving the times. Plus, we'll have other news and entertainment stories for you.
Well, we have a special treat for you. We're going to leave you now with pictures courtesy of photographer Chris Bloom, and the music you'll hear is composed by our very own reporter, Pat Trausch. From all of us here at Studio One, have a great week.